Universities are the training grounds for many of our disciplines. Are there suggestions for what we can do to integrate DEI into our curricula at all levels and get university leadership to lead these efforts?
I would say that's a tough one. I mean, that's, I think, everybody's goal is to have chancellors, have deans, have department chairs, have undergraduate curriculum coordinators and graduate program coordinators, all kind of invested in the same long-term goal to diversify the curriculum. But like for the discussions we've had for scientific societies, without steady, persistent work, it just won't happen. Because if it was going to happen innately, then it would already have happened. So I think that it really matters if you who's on the hiring committee, who makes the decisions for the people that go into these roles. And I think that it's really important to be invested. Not some of us don't want to get really bogged down with administrative tasks, or we don't really necessarily want to volunteer for extra committees, but it's really important to be in a decision-making position so that the people who do go into these kind of top positions in our institutions, we have people in those jobs that really have this kind of as one of their main targets and one of their main goals. Without someone that's willing to kind of put pressure and enforce, as Dr. Barabino mentioned, kind of, if there's no consequences, if you say you need to diversify and there's no consequences if you don't diversify the curriculum, then it's just not going to happen. So you really need to have there be some type of consequences. And sometimes that's the only thing something that really only a department chair or dean or even a chancellor could really enforce. And so you really need to have people in those positions, in those roles, who for them, that is one of their primary goals and missions. I have served on a couple of those hiring committees before, and it is long. They're like kind of separate and different from just hiring a faculty colleague, because you're often cloistered somewhere and away from the other faculty. We did ours in a hotel, I think, and it was a lot of long hours and long days. But I think that is such important work if you have the opportunity to participate in that, so that you can ensure that the people that are being selected who have vision to really keep that in mind, that diversifying our curriculum is the long-term goal.
I want to add to what Dr. Ware was saying, because it's really important that those who are in the institutions reflect society. And so if you have more faculty of color, for example, you are more likely to draw in more students of color. And the same thing for people from LGBTQ plus, whatever it is, if you have more of that present in your organization, you're more likely to attract. But then what happens is people think it's just a numbers game, it's just representational. So if I get my numbers up, I'm done. No, you're not done, because it's not just a matter of increasing numbers. It's how you engage and involve people in your community and create an inclusive community. Leaders do play an important role in that. Dr. Ware is completely correct about that. But I also want to say one other thing that I think is really important in drawing and retaining those from historically excluded groups and women as well. Relevance. If we can make our fields, our professional societies, our organizations, our institutions relevant to those who have been marginalized, they're much more likely to enter, stay, and be successful. So I will share an example of work at Olin. We tend to be team-based, project-oriented. We involve the users that we are designing for in the design. And at the school's inception, it's relatively new. It was established in 1997. But part of the founding precepts was to have gender parity. And that kind of intentionality in how the institution was formed and how the student body was populated actually said something about the environment and said something about how those people in the teams operated. So that combination is not just representational diversity, it's interactional diversity and the quality of that, and having leaders and people who reflect society and the institutions will really create some change